Hey everybody, how's it going? Long time no see. Another movie video for you. Everybody's just doing their rounds, best movies of 2024, so I figured I would do mine too. I didn't see any pictures in the theaters this year. As a matter of fact, I rarely go to the theater anymore. But let's just get started. These are going to be in no particular order. Not all these movies came out this year. This is just the best movies I saw. They're in, like I said, no particular order except for the top three. And I just have a couple I want to talk about real quick. One TV show I watched, and I've talked about a number of these on the channel before, but maybe you've never seen my channel. Fargo, the television show. It's an FX show. This is the first season, and I also picked up the second season, and these are on Blu-ray, of course. And as far as I know, these are the only two seasons that were ever released on home video, which is a bummer. It probably wasn't profitable to them, but it's on FX. And if you have Hulu, I'm pretty sure you can watch it there. Wonderful TV show. I'm a big fan of the Coen brothers. This is very much done in a authentic style that doesn't feel like a ripoff. The first season, the guy that wrote it, I can't remember his name, Noah something or other. He wrote every episode, and he wrote most of the episodes of season two. And having that just one singular writer really shows. The writing is great. It's funny. Wonderful show. And then quickly one film. I watched a lot of streaming movies, but one that really stuck out to me was a film called Ghost Story, or maybe it was a Ghost Story, either or. Not the old '80s movie. This was directed by David Lowery, and this was a movie basically about a guy who's a sheet ghost, and in his house with his, living basically in a house where his wife is living and observing her living life without him. It's a very slow experimental movie with very little dialogue. It's totally not for everyone, but I really enjoyed that, so I had to mention that. Of all the streaming movies I watched, that was up there. But certainly some really good other ones too that just didn't make this. All right, quickly getting on to the 4Ks and DVDs and Blu-rays. This is a movie called Brawl in Cell Block 99. This is by a director called S. Craig Zoller, who's quickly becoming one of my favorites. Really looking forward to what he does next. He's also, also a very good novelist. I've read one of his books. He has maybe 4 or 5 books, and he's just great, man. This shit is awesome. I mean, Vince Vaughn is not an actor I think of as a great actor. Not saying he's not, but he just never comes to mind. And he's just crazy. This is like a 70s exploitation movie. It's so over the top, ridiculous, and stylized, but also very smart and very character based. So this is, if you haven't seen this and you want some crazy action movie, it's fantastic. Vince Vaughn is great in that movie. Is it Jennifer Carpenter? Yeah, and Don Johnson. Next is a movie I had never heard of, and this is, I'm sure a lot of you have seen this, Children of Men. This movie was incredible. One of the few 5-star ratings I gave this year. If this is a movie about a world in which no more children are being born, and this guy, our main character, is tasked with basically an escort mission. It's just so well done. It's engaging. There's a lot of amazing action sequences, brilliant cinematography, some long tracking shots, which I know are not real tracking shots, but very cool looking. And also just a great script. It's one that's not heavily expository and trusts the audience to keep up. So great. Next is one of two. This is Dune, part 1 and 2. This is like the 4K set. I watched both of these. I don't know anything about Dune. I never read the book, so I'm totally casual going into this. I really enjoyed the first movie. I liked how slow it was. I liked the world building aspects and showing all different aspects of this culture on this planet. The second movie I didn't really care for. I thought it was good, don't get me wrong. Visually, spectacular. This is one of the best 4K discs I've ever seen. It looks so good. It's astonishing picture. The sound design is incredible. Music, I'm not a Hans Zimmer fan, but great acting, mostly great acting, but some great acting. I just enjoyed it. The second movie, I don't know. I just felt like, despite the enhanced running time, it just felt like rushed. Some of the characters, the way they were brought in, and it just didn't work for me. It felt like an elevated Marvel movie. That's going to sound like heresy to some people, but I mean, it was enjoyable. But the first one really was a good film. I really like that. Next, we have a very slow movie, very, very slow paced film, but a great watch. And this is called The Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford. And this is a movie about the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. I mean, really, it's a very slow movie, and I mentioned in my review of this, it's almost shot like a stage play. Like it has this sort of grounded sort of the way scenes play out slowly, and the dialogue. It all feels very realistic and grounded, and it just, I don't know, something in here worked for me. It's a very good movie, but like I said, very slow. There's some wonderful action sequences in here, just from a visual standpoint, just some great sequences. This was a great film. I'm looking forward to watching it again. Next was a big, spectacular blockbuster movie that I very much enjoyed. And this is Civil War, directed by Alex Garland. I really liked this movie. I thought the script was smart. I thought visually it was great. There were some beautiful sequences in it. It had great action in it. I mean, yeah, this one was, I think, a little surprisingly more hit or miss for people. I think some folks wanted more of an explanation of the Civil War. Some folks felt like, some parts of the plot were. It's not a perfect movie, though. I actually like that. And excuse me, I got a new phone case and it likes to slide down while I'm recording. So I'm trying. This is my test video for that. Anyways, though, I like that they didn't really get into it. I didn't want this sort of expository explanation as to what's going on. I like that they just dropped us in and it focused on these reporters. This is the best 4K disc I've seen, and one of the best I've ever seen. I think it's better than Dune. From a visual standpoint, it's just like, if you like this movie and you have a 4K capabilities, this is one of the best I've ever seen. Very much enjoyed that film. Next is another movie I also enjoyed. It's very weird, but this is The Lighthouse, directed by what's the matter with me? Robert Eggers, who just came out with Nosferatu, which I have not seen. I've also seen The Witch, which I love, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, he also directed The Northman, which I have not seen. Look, and I'd like to see that. This is not. I don't like this as much as The Witch because it becomes borderline incomprehensible. And I know that it's a very thought-provoking movie. There's a lot going on, but it does descend into just insanity, which mirrors what's going on. Not to give too much away, no spoilers for any of these films, of course, but I do feel that it gets away from itself a little bit. With that being said, visually this is absolutely spectacular. The way that Eggers is like an auteur when it comes to an eye for detail, and just the picture on this, and not even talking about the quality of the Blu-ray, which is excellent, but just the film that he chose to use and the way they shot everything, and it was just a visually fantastic movie, and I enjoyed it. Next is a Jim Jarmusch movie, and this was a very under the radar. Someone recommended this to me, and I really enjoyed this. And this is a film called Patterson, a slow, kind of weird movie. But if you like that stuff and you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's Adam Driver and Golshifteh Farahani. I'm sorry I butchered that name. That's her. And it's a husband and wife, and the husband is a bus driver who has aspirations of being a poet. It's a very weird, quirky little movie, but it's sweet. It has a lot of heart to it, and I really liked it. I like to see stuff like that, and I'll be watching that again. The next movie on here, there's more than I thought there were, is another David Lowery movie. Talked about a ghost story. This movie was awesome. I loved this film, and this is called The Green Knight. I thought this was great. It's to me, it feels like a Christmas movie. It takes place around the holidays, and it's a retelling of an Arthurian legend, and it just feels like a big epic fairy tale adventure movie, and it's great. I mean, it's pretty slow paced, I would say, but I don't know. It's just an adventure movie. It's like a picaresque basically, and I loved it. Visually, it's very, very good. It looks great. So this was one of my favorites. And we're getting down to the wire here. Next is a Paul Thomas Anderson movie called Phantom Thread with Daniel Day-Lewis. Not his most recent, but I had never seen this one. I loved this film. I'm not even going to get into it here because it's a little complicated, but this was so good. Really, really good. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think after this one came Licorice Pizza, right? which I liked. I own that as well, but I like this one more. And also, it's great to see Paul Thomas Anderson movies on 4K because, as far as I know, this is the only one. I think another one's getting done, but this, I mean, of course, Paul Thomas Anderson, his movies always look great. This is so beautiful to watch. I mean, the way he shot it on film and just the overall cinematography and the way he directs the movie, this looks beautiful, especially since this deals with a dressmaker and you get to see such fine detail in the clothing in this. And the movie itself, the acting, it's all superb. This was absolutely wonderful. This is probably my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson movie now. Really looking forward to whatever he does next. The Vineland something we don't know. Hopefully we hear more about that. Okay, next, the top three, and these are kind of in the order that I like them. This is a fantastic movie I've talked about on this channel. Not necessarily hard to find, but not a super well-known movie. Very low-budget film, and this is called Coherence. This is an amazing film. It's like a sci-fi head-spinning thriller. It is very low budget. Like I think it was shot for $50K, and it's like a sort of cerebral, mind-bending thriller, but it's filmed like a play. It all takes place pretty much in a living room at a dinner party. These people show up. This comet passes overhead, and some freaky stuff starts happening. And it kind of has this like, I wouldn't say whodunit, but there's a mystery. Like you're always trying to figure out the puzzle of this film, while at the same time they're presenting you with this traditional like stage play character drama. I think that the script in this is awesome. It's super fun to watch. I've seen it 3 times since I got it. Yes, I really, really like this. And even having it on DVD, it looks fantastic. So if you like that kind of movie, then you'll love this. I always recommend that movie. It's fantastic. Okay, top 2. The number 2, I've talked about probably 86,000 times on this channel, but I watched this earlier this year, and I fell in love with this movie, and it is another S. Craig Zahler movie, and that is Bone Tomahawk. This is one of my favorite movies of all time now. This is fantastic. It looks wonderful. It is super well acted. The script is incredible. It is funny. It is scary as hell. It is a anti-Western, a really kind of serious, realistic Western paired with an extreme horror movie. And the way that they're blended together is fantastic. This is not for people who don't like horror. The violence and horror in here is like as high as it goes, but the Western stuff in here is just fantastic. The pacing, everything, the monologues, wonderful. I love this movie. It is fantastic. And the number 1 movie I saw this year, again, one that was recommended to me, it just was like, yeah, sure, I'll watch it. Blew me the fuck away. It really did. And that is David Robert Mitchell's Under the Silver Lake. This movie, man. And now I also saw It Follows by him, which I really liked, but it didn't quite make the top 10. But man, this movie is like Thomas Pynchon, like straight up. It is so freaking good. It is weird. It's this paranoid character living in California who is seeing secret hidden messages and has this conspiracy thing going on, and it is shot like a neo-noir with amazing noir soundtrack, and it's full of wacky, weird characters and situations. I apologize again. This is like a movie that is made for me. I love this. I want to say I'm looking forward to Mitchell's next film, but I think it's a sequel to It Follows, and I'm not super excited about that. I'll certainly see it, but that doesn't like get me going like something like this. I do have a review of this, a recommendation, so check that out if it sounds interesting. It's not an easy one to recommend because it's so weird. Like, It Follows has its own brand of weirdness to it, which I enjoyed very much. But this is like turned up to 11, so definitely check my review or whatever. Go look, read into it if you wish. But if that sounds interesting, Thomas Pynchon stuff like Crying of Lot 49 style, check this out. This is awesome. So that was those are my favorite films I saw this year. They were wonderful. I also saw a lot of other great movies. Like I saw some Robert Altman movies this year, Gosford Park, The Long Goodbye, The Player. Just saw a lot of good stuff, man. So let me know if you liked any of these movies, what you thought. If you hated them, let me know. I would love to hear why. And if your favorite movies were not on here, let me know. I'll probably at some point do a top books I read, because I read some great books this year. So anyways, peace out, stay safe and healthy and all that good stuff, and I'll see you later. Bye.